Well, guys, the moment of truth has arrived. It is time now to check out this record changer. So let me see if we can get this thing to work. I just fit a couple records on it just to see how they laid out on this thing. So let's start by taking the needle guard off of the tone arm. There we go. Wait a minute. I need to plug in. Okay, the record changer needs to be plugged into the RCA socket. So there we go. For right now, to eliminate ground loops, I've just connected a gator wire from the shield conductor on the outside of the signal wire to ground on the chassis. No big deal. Also, I need to plug in the AC supply for the record changer. It just plugs into the back of the radio. There we go. Power is on to the radio. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Okay, it's set, I believe, to AM right now, but there's no antenna. Okay, definitely set to AM. So let's go ahead and turn this thing to record player, and that's all you do is you turn this, you push this button right here. Okay, no real hum to speak of. Okay, so let me get the records. Now, the way I've been able to figure out this record player works, it does not have functionality for starting with a stack up here and putting in an automatic and starting right away. This is a reject button, so I think you have to start it yourself in manual and then go to automatic. That's all I can figure out. I could be wrong, but that's what I've figured out. In any event, that's how this one's going to have to work, because doesn't seem to be any way to change that. So I'm going to start by putting a record at the bottom, and then I'll put a record up here on the changer. Okay, it's in manual. Let me turn the record changer on. Okay, it's going. The stylus guard is off of the tone arm, so let's go ahead and drop this thing down onto the record. Pretty easy to do, actually. You just bring it over here. There we go. We'll check that out. Hey, that sounds pretty good, huh? Let's get a little closer here. Very nice, very nice. All right, guys, tell you what. Let's go ahead and, well, it's only got another minute or so. I'm pretty sure this song is public domain, but I'll probably edit the snot out of it anyway. Now, I will tell you this. This does not go as loud as the radio, and we expected that. We're running a ceramic cartridge pushing out about 3/4 of a volt. The original cartridge, I'm not sure what the output was. It was magnetic, and it probably was low, but then again, it was a different sort of magnetic reproducer. It was more like the old ones back in the days of the Electrolas. And it went through an impedance matching transformer, but I don't think any gain was introduced by that transformer, but I could be wrong about that. In any event, I don't know what the output of that magnetic cartridge was. But I can tell you that this chassis, when run with a crystal cartridge, used a crystal cartridge that put out about 1.5 volts. So about double what I'm putting out. So of course it's going to be louder. Now watch this changer. There we go. Drops the record. All right. Check it out, guys. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Now, these are old records and I've never cleaned them. Obviously they're old, but they're rough records. I've never cleaned them, but they're in good enough shape to play with a new cartridge. Some nice, easy piano jazz. I like that. The name of this song is Body and Soul. And it is by Buddy Cole. Very nice, very nice. Now when you want to stop playing, because what will happen is this thing will play over and over and over until you put it in manual. That is the way it's designed. There's nothing I can do about that. So you hit reject now, it will go back to rest at the tone arm, at the tone arm rest. Okay? Doesn't shut off. This is still a lot more manual than your 1980s Techniques turntable, okay? Now, let's see here. Let me show you this changer one more time. The way you set it up, you see I've set one side of the records on this right here. Let me put a third record on there and see how we do. I don't know. I'm a little nervous because I don't want to break my records. In fact, I've got this one here that's cracked. I'm going to put as the second record in case we crunch. Actually, I'll put it up here in case we crunch. Let's just see what happens, guys. Not since I've broken some records on an old K-part changer have I really wanted to stack records on a changer. But I've been asked several times, so I think I'll go ahead and do it. This is in manual, okay? Let me check something out. If it's in manual, let's turn it on, and you hit reject. Let's see what happens. Yep, it still will drop a record. So let me set this up. You start this in manual and then you switch it to automatic if that's the way you want to go. And you know, I don't get it. It's not fully automatic, but hey, this was made in 1947, guys. Okay, so I've got 3 records on this changer. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm taking a risk here. I'm doing this for those of you that have asked to see this, and I'm going to give it a shot. Let's go ahead. We'll turn this sucker on. It is on. All right, so you hit reject. Let's hit reject. Oops. Here we go. We'll start with the first one. Yikes. That hurts. Just hearing that hurts. Oops. And you go ahead and put the record on there. You let her play. Very cool, very cool. Now let's bring this over. It's in automatic. Let's bring this a little closer to the end. And if you were to listen really carefully, you can hear the little ratcheting pawl clicking. And that's normal. You hear a little clicking? Hear that? Now I have seen people put grease on those thinking that it's not supposed to click like that, but that just messes them up. So once again, this cartridge is putting out about 0.75 volts, which is working out pretty well. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. All right, dropped record number 2. Very nice. Very nice, guys. Very nice. Gosh, I love this song. Very nice. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest that this guy put a, I think I mentioned it earlier, a felt mat on this thing. If you're actually going to play records on this and you're going to stack them, that's the thing to do. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's play the next record. Hit reject. There we go. There goes record number 3. Nice. Now, if you're done listening, you don't want to hear this record over and over, you put it on manual, and then you hit reject. There you go. Okay, and then you turn it off by you have to turn it off manually too. As an automatic record changer, it's pretty manual even in the automatic mode. That's just the way it is, guys. These things were made that way. There's not much I can do to change that. In fact, I looked and looked and looked and could not find any reason why that arm would swing over quickly like that when in manual. So I'm not real sure. I haven't tried it. I'm sorry, when in automatic. I haven't tried it with a stack of records. I'm almost afraid to. But what the heck, you know, I guess what I could do is put the needle guard on there in case it gets crunched down, it won't squish the needle. I'm going to give that a try. So let's observe this together. This is going to be new for both of us, guys. Okay, now I'm going to put that in automatic. We're really checking out how these things work, okay? I'm going to turn it on. Let me see what happens. Is there going to be a crash and burn? Let's just see. Here goes. Yikes. That's painful, man. But it seems to, it didn't hurt it any. It didn't hurt it any. So, I don't know. I don't really love it. But I will show that the owner that it can be done. It's just not my favorite. And gosh, I do not want to hear any more crashing on that platter. I'm going to put something on there myself because I don't like it. So I don't have let's see, do I have a felt mat? I have one on my stereo. You know what I do? I do, guys. Hold on. Hold on. I use cork mats on my turntables, okay? So I don't need this. This came with my U-turn, one of my U-turn orbits. In fact, they both came with one. But I use cork mats, so I'm just going to go ahead and set this on there. It's a little bit big, so if the owner bought one of these, he'd have to cut it down. But that'll work for right now. It'll function. Now, let's try these records one more time. Did you guys see where I set them? Where the heck did I set the records? Oh, I set them over here. This is my life, man. I forget my mother used to tell me, among many of the more profane things she would say, kid, you would forget your head if it weren't attached. And you know what? She's right. All right, so here goes. Let's turn it on. Okay, Mr. Felt Mat is spinning. Looks a little odd, but it's working. Okay, let's hit reject. Oops, let's take this needle guard off of there. I don't think it's going to crash the stylus. All right, here we go. Yikes. Makes me nervous, guys. Okay, that's in manual. Remember, I want to try this in automatic. This takes some getting used to. It's in automatic now. Okay. Turn it on. Reject. Yikes almighty. That is just funky. I don't like it. But it is easier on the records to use that mat. So I'm going to suggest that he buy one of these mats and he cuts them down. Pretty slick, guys. Pretty slick. Gosh, I love that. Let's put this near the end and let it reject on its own, okay? I'd like to listen to the whole thing. I don't know if it's copyright or not. Man, that is nice. I'll tell you what I am going to do, though. I'm going to clean this record up, and I'm going to record this with my digital recorder, and because I could listen to this all day. Okay, it's getting near the end of the song, guys. Here it comes. Alright, self-reject. Bang. Very nice. So put it on manual. That record's pretty beat up. I don't want to play that needle long in that record. All right, guys, what do you think? Think we got ourselves a record changer, huh? Boy, I'm so excited. I'm going to run upstairs and show Wifey. But first, I want to show you something. Remember, I said that this this ground is necessary to take care of ground loops. Watch when I disconnect that. Hear that? Now watch this. Makes it go away. That's the whole point of that, okay? What I was doing, you didn't see it in the camera, I was touching the tone arm, okay, and that's made of metal. I was conducting and making the ground loop worse. So that definitely a ground connection between the shield for this signal cable and the chassis is absolutely necessary. Hey Beanie, can you come down for a minute first? I just want to show you this. What?
It's a movie soundtrack.
It's just remember the kind of music that, and the speaker's not in the cabinet. Now watch. So I'll put this near the end. You hear the little clicky? There's a little ratchet in there, and when it gets near the end of the record, that little ratchet starts clicking. And then when the tone arm gets to the it's called the takeout groove. The takeout groove makes it go back and forth. Watch it. And when it goes back and forth, it disengages that little ratchet, and it hits the reject when it does that, and it rejects it. It's really a cool design. A lot of them use things like that.
It smells the same as that old record player Aunt Laurel gave me when I was like 10. And some records that she had. It smells the same.
Now the next album I like a lot, the next record. If you watch it, see it goes back and forth, and it rejects. Next record. Isn't that cool?
Is that only 2 that have dropped?
Yeah, there's only 2. I put 3 on there to begin with. I love this music. You might have noticed that Wifey is an absolute wizard at pretending to be interested. She's great at it. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that funky? Neat, huh?
Yeah.
And then it'll play the record over and over unless you put it in manual and then hit reject and it goes to rest. Now watch how slick she is about making her escape. Man, she's good. And then you still have to turn it off manually too. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But
I left something on upstairs. So I can come right back down.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to show you.
I think that's great. I just remembered.
See, I told you she was slick. She is, isn't she? So you can put it in automatic at the end of a record if you want to. There you go. Now, let's see. If we're at the end of a record, now this is a really dirty record, really noisy record, okay? So just understand. All right, so we're at the end of a record. When it's in automatic, here's what it does. It'll reject. That's the last record. But what does it do? It goes back and plays it again. So if I don't want it to play, now I want to show you something else. Now I just put it in manual. You hear there's no ratchet. Okay, this thing will never reject in manual. It'll just sit there. I'll show you. Okay, in manual, this record, this tone arm will just sit there in the lead out groove, and it'll sit there for a week if you leave it. Now, if you don't want to have to lift it, just put it in automatic, and there you go. But now here's the rub. What does it do? It'll play over and over. So really what you have to do is just leave it, put it in manual, and move it yourself. So these are sort of semi-automatic. Okay, semi-automatic. Now, I will say, if you're playing it in manual and you get tired of the song, you hit reject, and it will go to the end. Okay, so then it shuts it down. It's very unusual the way they work compared to what we're all used to. You know, I play when I use an automatic machine. It's a Techniques, and the thing works perfectly. And I have a Sony upstairs on my Guild New Englander, and that Sony works perfectly. I don't touch a thing. I push one button and it does everything. But not so on this guy. Okay, and those aren't changers. Those are just turntables. This guy's a changer, but it only kind of automatic, kinda. Okay, so we just have to get used to that. And but it's pretty cool. It's working the way it's supposed to be working. Everything is good. So let's go ahead and turn her off now. Let's lift these records off of here. You have to be careful. These are 78s after all. They do break, and they break easily. Okay. And let me take my felt mat off. I'll use this to demonstrate with them, but these things attract cat hair like a magnet attracts iron filings. So I'm going to put this inside its bag. As I can see, I'm already going to have to cat hair roll it. All right, so I think we have ourselves a good working record changer. I see no reason to do any more with it, and I'm very happy about that because I want to finish up this whole setup and get it back to the owner by the end of this week. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up for now. I'm real tired, and I got to go up and eat some pot pies that Wifey made, so I'm pretty excited about that. She makes them herself. I'm a lucky guy. So it's Sunday afternoon, about 6:30, October the 1st. October, man, that's cool. October the 1st, 2017. And from your western outpost in Salt Lake City, this is Michael, and that's all for now.